This image from Mark Noller, President Putin's plane is seen landing behind schedule as is wont at Helsinki Airport. I take you back to October 2015 when I was talking about something else, which was the intervention in Syria, and I called Putin a geopolitical GrandMaster, and he is. And really, he's even more impressive when you consider his return on investment. Everyone keeps criticizing him for having an economy the size of Italy. He might have an economy the size of Italy, but he owns the world at this moment in time. MMA fighter Conor McGregor has been criticized for calling Vladimir Putin one of the greatest leaders of our time. This was a tweet from Anne-Marie. This one time I came face to face with Putin. And I take you then to an article I wrote in December 2016, when I was talking exactly about this intervention, election intervention, and I said we have a deviate Tomahawk. And I said my starting point is the election of President Donald Trump, because hindsight will surely show that Russia ran a seriously sophisticated program of interference, mostly digital, I said. I then went to Don DeLillo, who I think is a prophetic 21st century writer, who writes as follows in one of his short stories. The specialist is monitoring data on his mission console when a voice breaks in, a voice that carried with it a strange and unspecifiable poignancy. He checks in with his flight dynamics and conceptual paradigm officers at Colorado Command. We have a deviate Tomahawk. We copy, there's a voice. We have gross oscillation here. There's some interference. I've gone redundant, but I'm not sure it's helping. We are clearing an outframe to locate source. Thank you, Colorado. It's probably just selective noise, which is what the Republicans seem to be saying. You are negative red on the step function quad. It was a voice, I told them. We have just received an affirm on selective noise. We will correct Tomahawk. In the meantime, advise you to stay redundant. The voice, in contrast to Colorado's metallic pidgin, is a melange of repartee, laughter, and song, with a quality of purest, sweetest sadness. Somehow, we are picking up signals from radio programs of 40, 50, 60 years ago. Very interesting piece in the Daily Beast. What everyone but Trump knows, Russia is armed and dangerous. Over the last decade, Russia has demonstrated a marked proclivity to use or threaten to use military force to achieve its foreign policy goals, particularly when it comes to ensuring compliance among regimes within its own sphere of influence. Putin, in the words of former US Ambassador to Moscow Michael McFaul, has anointed himself the leader of a renewed nationalist conservative movement fighting a decadent West, and is determined to re-establish his country as a leading player in international politics. The Kremlin has invested billions in sophisticated social media networks and information warfare techniques, and employed them in an active measures campaign to destabilize relations between members of the Western Alliance and shape political developments within their societies in a manner congenial to Russian interests. That's right. Effective hybrid warfare operations in Russia's quest to regain great power status ultimately rest on the capabilities of its conventional military forces. That's why Putin refrained from undertaking provocative foreign interventions and political warfare against the West until his armed services had been thoroughly revitalized in the sweeping reform and reconstruction program. But what the Western Alliance really needs badly and soon is nowhere in sight. An American president fully committed to working with European allies to develop a grand strategy for dealing with Russia's multi-pronged assault on Western power and interests. And then Politico is saying Putin's attack on the US is our Pearl Harbor. In 2016, our country was targeted by an attack that had different operational objectives and a different overarching strategy. But its aim was every bit as much to devastate the American homeland as Pearl Harbor or 9/11 The destruction may not send pillars of smoke into the sky or come with an 11-digit price tag, and there's no body count or casualty statistics, but the damage done has ravaged our institutions and shaken our belief in our immovability. 2 years on, we still haven't put any boats or men in the proverbial water. We still have not acted. Just today, President Trump, a beneficiary of this attack, exonerated the man who ordered it, Russian strongman Vladimir Putin. Fighting hybrid attacks requires an informed, prepared, mobilized population with the will to fight and to understand. The President of the United States' dream is disarming the American public in what would be the most important fight in our history. I tweeted Mr. Putin as a GrandMaster, and it all starts with recognizing him as such. Look at the ROI.